Hello. No, that
Sorry.
was sexy. Continue.
Trying to like make myself look less ill.
Oh, baby. Claudia's not feeling her best today. Hello, lovely people. Today we are making an LGBTQ+ advice video in association with Switchboard, a UK charity that provides calm when you need it most. Switchboard is a confidential listening and support service for anyone who wants to talk about gender identity, sexuality, sexual health, and emotional well-being. They operate a telephone line, instant messaging, and email service 365 days a year. This August, Switchboard are launching Virtual Pride, because although in-person Pride events have been cancelled due to COVID-19, Pride is needed now more than ever. Contacts to the helpline are up 35% compared to 2019, and their IM and email contacts have been the highest they've ever been. So we're going to be giving some much needed advice that was submitted to our Instagram at Jessie and Claude. Oh yeah, I should have done a thing like, hey, if you're new here, I'm Jessica, this is Claudia.
Oh yeah.
You should really subscribe to the channel and follow us on Instagram at Jessie and Claude. We each have our own Instagrams, Jessica Out of the Closet and Cloudfuzz.
And we're married.
We're married.
We live in a house.
We do live in a house. It's currently a building site. Don't let whatever's behind us lie to you.
Well, I mean... the magic of studio setups.
All right, we have a good range of questions here. It's all anonymous. Don't worry.
Okay.
I will be sharing no names. First section is coming out. I would love some advice for coming out when you're a bit older to family, especially those that have demonstrated they might feel negatively towards the news. There's one basic rule with
Is
coming
your
out.
family like your husband? Or is it your parents?
There are so many different options here, Claudia. Let's try and narrow them down.
Okay.
I think that when coming out, there is just one very basic rule, and that is that if coming out is going to in some way negatively impact your safety, whether that be physical safety, emotional safety, mental safety, it is okay not to do it. Don't feel like you have to come out and thereby put yourself in a position where you could be in danger. Oh, financial safety. I didn't say that. However, if you feel safe and secure enough to come out, then you can do it on your own terms. I think that's just the one grand rule, right?
Yeah.
Probably best to broach the subject using some form of media. Watch a movie with your family
Oh, okay.
where someone comes out and then be like, goodness, how would we react as a family to this situation?
And then your family might be like, we know you're gay. Or you could do what I did. I mean, I wasn't actually trying to come out to anyone. If you came into my bedroom, you probably would have guessed. I had all the Sarah Waters novels. I had like classy pictures of like nude
Classy
women on
pictures.
the walls. What else did I do? I was watching The L Word all the time. Listening to like Brandi Carlile. I mean, all the signs were there.
Yeah, I never actually came out to my family, but I think they could have guessed by the 162 pictures of Eliza Dushku I had on my wall.
Oh, I don't know.
It was a mural. If you come out as a teenager, no one's really got any preconceived ideas.
You don't have any,
about
like, history.
who you date.
Yeah.
And whereas if you come out in your 20s, 30s, 40s and older, they're like, but you dated that boy
Yeah.
for 20 years.
I mean, when I came out when I was like 24, and I'd had like boyfriends and a long-term relationship before, and my dad's response to me was, but you went out with so-and-so for that long? I'm like, yeah. And then my sister's response was, well, one time when we just got drunk together, she just like started crying and said that was really sad because she had imagined us sharing like family holidays together in the future.
Which we still do now.
Which we
by
do
the way.
anyway,
But
but
it's
like,
okay, it's okay.
yeah, they had both had this like, yeah, like you said, this vision for me in the future that then I changed, and then they were both like, that's not what we've seen in our heads. If you're sure of yourself, then you just have to make them like realise that.
I think maybe also you don't need to be 100% sure, because it's okay to be slightly like, you know what, right now I'm just not straight. I can't tell you whether I'm bisexual, gay, pansexual, what. I'm not straight. That's coming out.
I mean, I think that would have just blown my dad's mind if I'd said something like that.
Right, how to handle coexisting with homophobic family. Well, as I said before, if you're not safe to come out, don't come out. Protect yourself at all costs. However, if you are in a position of quality or power, drop them. You don't need homophobic friends in your life.
Yeah, that's true. If it's your friends. It's different if it's like your family and you're a minor still living at home.
Of course.
But you know, what makes you think that they're homophobic? Because sometimes people say passing comments that are homophobic like in jest, you know, or they think it's funny. And actually, on a deeper level, oh, there's a big fly. Maybe they're not actually as homophobic as you might fear them to be.
Or as they come across.
Or as they come across.
So they might be repeating jokes that they've heard somewhere else, but it's not a true reflection of how they feel. That's true.
You can find a YouTuber who happens to be gay, who also does up cars.
Or a race car driver.
Or whatever,
who is gay.
Exactly. So, and you can just like subtly be like, oh, these people like all the same things you like, they just happen to be gay as well. That's a good, and then that would, you know, and then you'd find out maybe if they were just a bit ignorant to things and that was coming across as homophobic.
I'm changing schools this year and I want to start my new school as out and not in the closet. How do I do that? I don't want to go around and tell everybody the first thing I do, but I still don't want them to be surprised when I tell them since I've gotten bad reactions before. Well, I changed schools many a time in my teenage years, and I always found that the best thing to do was reclaim words and take power from them. So I went to a school where before I joined, they always used the word lesbian as just an insult, like, she's a lesbian. It didn't actually matter if the kid was gay or not. However, when I came, everyone always asks you, my experience, everyone always asks you about your dating, like, do you have a boyfriend?
Who do you fancy?
Who do you like?
Yeah.
What's going on? Do you have a boyfriend in your old school? And I was like, oh, no, well, I'm gay, but I'm single.
Yeah, and just put it out.
I'm a lesbian, but I'm single. And they were like, oh.
Yeah, if you just don't make a big deal out of it. Like, it's a bit like when I start at new workplaces. I mean, it's easier now that I'm married because I can just be like, oh, my wife. But again, you just sort of throw in it.
It's hard when you're single.
You throw it in casually, yeah. But when you're single, it is a bit harder. Or you could put a rainbow pin on your, like, rucksack.
And then the people who notice are going to be the ones that you want to notice.
Yeah, so then people think you're either just like an ally, or maybe you align with one of those sexualities.
Or you're a really happy person. If you hold something as power and if you say it proudly, then the idea that someone can hurt you with it isn't there so much. Kids would like yell lesbian at me and I'd be like,
yeah, but this is different because you're a very like confident extrovert and you just like water off a duck's back with you. I worry too much about what other people think all the time, so I'd be in the same situation of like, I just wish everyone knew I was gay and like it wasn't a thing. And
but also that no one knew.
Carry on with your life, maybe have subtle things like, oh, I find her so attractive.
Who's your celebrity crush?
Yeah, who's your celebrity crush? Yeah, people, that kind of stuff. So it might be a month before you actually outwardly
the news gets out.
oh no, I'm actually gay. And then like, you know, just do it at your own pace is what I think. If it was me, I would feel the same. I wouldn't like immediately tell people.
That's fair. That's an important note. The extrovert versus the introvert. Yeah. I'm very much like,
I would,
hello,
yeah, Jessica,
this is me.
Jessica doesn't need to read the room. She's like, this is me, accept it, do what you like with it. I'm like, I want to read every single individual here and grasp how I think they're going to react before I tell them anything about myself.
Hi, it's definitely the same day. How to come out to an Asian family, especially the extended family who refuse to believe you are gay, no matter how many times you've told them to their face and you're over 30.
Oh God, yeah, that's kind of awkward, isn't it? I mean, just be persistent. Just keep saying, you know, eventually they will be like, okay.
How did you come out to your family, or did you just wait until I was around?
I just waited till you were around.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. For extended family, I just took Jessica to Malaysia and were like, this is my fiance, and they were like, oh,
a girl. And I will marry her.
But like some of them had already seen on Facebook and things.
Yeah,
but
like social media.
Yeah, you know, family
Did
talk.
you not tell anyone before we announced it on social media?
Extended family?
Yeah.
No?
Okay, you go for it. I guess also the great thing about social media is that they can see how many other people are liking it.
Yeah, then they can see like...
And they're like, wow, this is amazing, congratulations.
Yeah, yeah. We didn't even know she was gay, but if all their friends, like, you know, you got 100 likes and then friends being, oh, you guys are so cute together, then they're like, oh. Especially if also then Julia was like endorsing it, my sister, and being like, you know, maybe
how
like
did you?
Through food. All Asian families like food. You could just invite them all to a big sit-down meal and just be like, this is my coming out party, and then put on a really good spread of food, and everyone's like, I mean, she's gay, but this is really good food.
On dating, I don't understand how you get women to understand that you are flirting with them. I have literally told some people that I like them to their face and they don't get it. Please help.
I think we've both been in that situation. I think, unfortunately, like, if you think that they don't understand, like they're just not getting it, it's probably because they don't fancy you. Because
and they're not going to.
Yeah, because if they did, you know, have any inkling of, you know, they would have already been checking you out, or like they would like, it just thinks.
Yeah, this is true. Anything you say to me, I'm like,
yeah, if you kind of like already been looking at
because
someone.
I already like you.
Yeah.
I've had plenty of male friends who thought we were having conversation where they told me how much they liked me, and I was just like, yeah, dude, you're cool too. Did not occur to me. Because yes, unless you're actually interested in yourself, it just doesn't twig.
Yeah, but now I feel like we've been a bit harsh because
we are being harsh. I'm so sorry. You're probably fantastic. You just need to find the people who also believe and know that you are wonderful. What advice do you have for moving in together? You and Claudia have very different styles. When it comes to home design, how do you compromise and make sure all your needs are met?
Oh, well, we have really different styles.
We're currently renovating our house.
Yeah, we have different styles in terms of what we wear. Our styles in our home are actually exactly the same. Well, not exactly the same.
Very similar, to the extent that when we first moved into our first house together, we had a housewarming party, and all of my friends went around going, wow, this house is so you, Jessica. Did you let Claudia have anything of her own? Did she make any decisions?
My friends went round and said that they could see both of us.
The thing we've most disagreed on, I think,
is
out
sofa.
of everything.
Is what sofa to get.
Oh, I was going to say the windows.
We've ordered a sofa now.
Oh, yes.
Windows took us like a few months to choose. Like not even a few months, a week once we realised.
The sofa, it's taken 5 years.
Yeah. Anyway, let's not start this argument again.
We don't actually have arguments in our relationship because we just see who is the most passionate about the topic, and then the other one just goes, okay, never mind.
Yeah, that's true. Right, we kind of just listen to each other's point. Like, we'll never just be like, if someone says, oh, I really, really like this, the other one doesn't just go, oh no, that's disgusting, and dismiss it. We're always a bit like, why do you like that one so much? Like, oh, because I like this bit, and it really goes with this kind of style, and I think it matches the colour of this. And then it's like, and then you pick something out that you like, say like, if you like the colour of that and you think it matches that, what about like this one? And it's like a different style, maybe more to your taste, but it has the same sort of things that they like. And then you're both like, and then you kind of look between the two for a while, and then you're like, yeah, let's go for that one instead.
Compromise.
Yeah, but it just happens really naturally. I think the whole point is just you meant to communicate with each other and not be dismissive of each other's.
Never dismiss someone else's
likes
feelings.
and dislikes. Yeah, and just be like, okay, interesting.
How do you ask or learn the sexuality of others? I think you can bring up queer celebrities, TV shows.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. Who's your favourite character in sex education?
I mean, I'm pretty
Why?
sure cis-het people can
Why was that your favourite character? Did you feel like you related to that person?
On what level?
Maybe don't be too intense.
Alright, next question. There were a lot of these and they have been consolidated into, can you talk about disability and sex? And my answer as the person with the disability is to just be very open about your needs, what you like and what you don't like, which you should probably do when you first have sex with anyone.
I was going to say irrelevant of whether you have a disability.
Indeed. Be more open about funny things that your body might do, like sometimes my hip dislocates. That's not a nice thing for a person to find out halfway through. Probably tell them beforehand. Or if you feel like it's about to happen, FYI, my hip might dislocate in a minute.
Maybe like, you can back me up, but like, I would say it's probably quite good to maybe explore your own body before you maybe let someone else get involved with you, especially if you have a disability, because then you know what positions are more comfortable for you, or what position maybe you get more pleasure in. If you need to have aids to help you, you know, with certain things. So it's probably best that you feel quite confident going into it, or at least a little bit more aware of yourself before allowing someone else to feel like they're taking charge. Or also, maybe that was the wrong word.
No, it's okay. I get what you mean. I also think, and maybe this isn't like the most modern opinion, but I always think that you shouldn't have sex with someone unless you can have a full and open and honest conversation about your needs. Like if you feel a bit embarrassed talking to someone about, yeah, I have this body thing and it does this, and you might find it a bit awkward. Yeah. Then don't crush that down. Tell them first, and then if...
Why is that old-fashioned? Because you don't believe in like a one-night stand? You think you should...
It's not that I don't believe in a one-night stand, it's that I think you don't want to be caught in that position. So you don't want to suddenly something happen and then they're like, oh, that's weird, bye, and leave you with your dislocated hip. So if you don't have an open and honest line of communication with them, how can you get things like consent. Any couple, regardless of disability.
You know, my hip could dislocate. Are you gonna just leave me? You'll be like, well, this never happened to me before, Christ.
I don't know what it looks like from the outside. This is really weird.
Jessica feels very uncomfortable talking about sex.
I do. I'm dying inside. So the next question is, did you ever find in past relationships that your gender expression, femininity to masculinity, changed depending on who you were with?
Mine does. I'm very
Malleable.
Sometimes I have, even now to this day, I sometimes am a bit like, oh, I'm having an identity crisis, because I'm like, what's my voice?
Every 6 weeks.
What's my style? Who am I? And that's just I've just learned to accept that that's just who I am. And I have to have a good person for me to feel comfortable that whoever I'm with does strongly influence how I maybe express myself and carry myself, because I'm very influenced.
Yeah, I think at the start of our relationship, you definitely
because you were like
a little bit off me.
Well, yeah, because Jessica's always like in dresses and things, and her ex was like way more femme, and you weren't even sure what you really wanted either. So she kind of maybe projected that she wanted me to be a bit more girly. When I met her, I was still wearing a lot more like dresses, but I wore like jeans and t-shirts more, but I still was wearing dresses and skirts occasionally and earrings and things like that. And when I wore those things, Jessica would be like, oh, I really love it when you wear this dress, or your dress, you look so pretty in this. And then I think you bought me a dress. So I was just like, okay, I'll do it because, you know, you like me in it and I don't mind either way.
When we were at home and you were wearing clothes that made you feel more comfortable, there was definitely a response.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think if I was at home and we were just bung on my like tracksuit bottoms and a jumper and a hoodie or whatever, or like, and
I'd be like, oh my God, you are so hot right now.
So my choice of clothing, my choice when I'm not thinking about anything, is just those things. And then I think you realised I was more confident, I carried my body in a different way.
Okay, these two questions are kind of aligned. I'm moving to a new city in a different country. Any tips on how to find other queer people? And then the next question is how to find sober LGBTQ+ places. So I kind of think those two are tied together.
Well, there's other kind of apps. When I first came to Brighton, there's like some apps called Meetup. You can meet up with people through like hobbies or just like social events, like meet up for a coffee. So that's already set up as more of a friend level.
I think you can also explore other interests that align with queer communities. I mean, I'm being super stereotypical here, I realise.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And I was like, oh, I don't want to say anything specific.
Join a sports club.
What's that called? Roller derby, yeah.
You trying to say roller derby? Roller derby.
Climbing.
I reckon we have roller derbies.
Climbing?
Yeah,
I think it's
climbing. We've met a lot of lesbians who climb.
I mean, they're not all gay, but
really
like,
into that.
They've kind of got that more down-to-earth kind of thing about them. Dating app, you could be quite like open on them, and just like I met like some good friends through just dating apps. So like you could make it kind of clear that you would like to meet just more of a like a, hey, let's meet up. Like if you kind of build up a bit of a rapport just chatting on the app, depending what app it is. Then
just because your date doesn't end with a romantic connection doesn't mean that you have to end that connection entirely. What do I do when I don't want to answer questions about being part of the LGBTQ+ community, but I don't want to discourage them from learning more? Well, the wonder of the internet. You can send people YouTube videos. Thank you so much for watching, and remember that this year's Switchboard is celebrating their 46th anniversary. And they're open from 10 AM to 10 PM, 365 days of the year for your LGBTQ+ concerns. Again, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you in our next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mwah. Oh, and if you were wondering, yes, this is a face mask that I decided to wear as a headband so it could match my dress.
That is clever.
Yeah, so when you're out and about and then you suddenly need your face mask, you just pull it down from your head. Here it is, good to go.
So clever.